Hey friends, Andrew here at SHOT 2023 with John from FN, and we've got some brand new-ish silencers. That is, you guys made silencers for like military contracts and whatnot,
right.
but they haven't been available for consumers to purchase until now, and now you're going to be selling some commercial versions of, or are these similar to the suppressors that you made for military contracts, or are they entirely new products?
Pretty different. Those were rifle suppressors designed around SCAR platform and some other firearms. This was designed around the FN 509 Tactical.
Okay.
So it's one of our best-selling products. We ship a lot of guns with threaded barrels every year, and it's a natural step for FN to take to not only get into suppressors, but to make something that complements one of our top sellers very well.
For sure.
So in December we launched the Brush 9 TI.
Okay.
TI stands for titanium, so it's titanium tube, aluminum baffle stack with a steel blast baffle, blast chamber.
Titanium tube, steel blast baffle, aluminum stack.
Right,
Okay.
and so what that does is gives you a very lightweight can, moves the weight towards the back, which allows it to be much more balanced with the firearm, because otherwise you're hanging a suppressor off the end of the pistol.
Well, it's going to be a good balance of cost for the materials too, because you've got that stainless steel baffle is going to take up a lot of the erosion to the point that every baffle except that first one takes a lot less heat and pressure and all that. Aluminum's just fine for the role of all the rest of the baffles. The titanium is going to allow you to have a thinner stronger
lighter
threads at either end, lighter weight. It's a nice balance of, because a lot of manufacturers will like try to earn some sort of cred by all titanium, but you're just wasting money. The benefit of the material isn't realized in those last few baffles.
And we actually call it a titanium hybrid construction because we do have a mix of materials in here.
And there's a cost to using titanium in everything, and you're not getting aluminum and titanium are more or less the same weight by volume. They're close. They're going to be similar, the same weight of parts, but the titanium is going to cost a lot more.
And I mean, this is a very durable can, so we tend to test things to extremes. So with one or two specific cans, we've taken them to extremely high round counts, but all of them have gone through a full durability test with our firearms, because for us, it's all about the user experience. And if we're gonna put a can out in the market that has to go on one of our guns, we gotta make sure that this works, we gotta make sure that the gun works, that it's durable, it's gonna be reliable, that you're not gonna have any other issues pop up. So this thing will go the distance.
So we're gonna start with 9, right?
Starting with 9, and we have obviously, plans. I'm not going to tell you all today, but we have plans for other calibers.
There is a process, and the R&D cycle takes time to complete, and it makes sense to start with the 9 first.
Well, the 509 is a bestseller for us, and so if you think about it, every time we sell a gun, we're selling someone else's suppressor. So made a lot of sense. And to your point about the R&D, we get kind of put in a box, if you will, because as the manufacturer of the host firearm, we can't compromise on certain things. So we have to make sure that everything works together. Most importantly, the user experience. So you'll find when you shoot this can, it's very pleasant. So we really focus on blowback, the amount of particles, gas coming back in your face. Sound is good, it's a nice tone to it, so works very well.
It has to be an interesting problem from an engineering perspective to be able to, all right, people will buy your silencer and put them on other pistols.
Yeah,
of course,
absolutely,
there are other
and
pistols
they
out
should.
there. But as you're designing it, you're going to be tuning the booster for your 509 and not really care so much about whether it works. Not that it won't, but you can tune it to make sure that the recoil impulse, the weight, the gas, all of that is optimized for your pistol. Whereas
and
any other silencer manufacturer's got to make sure. It's almost like designing software for Mac versus Windows, where if you design software for Windows, it's got to run on everything.
Right.
And if you design a silencer to fit your pistol, you've got you've got some room to really fine tune and get it working.
So we
the way you want.
We did test it on other cans. So this will work on most semi-automatic 9mm pistols. But you're absolutely right. Yeah, about the 509. That's kind of the burden, if you will, that we have to overcome is, we got to make sure the system, that's a very popular word these days, but that the system functions as a whole.
So everything is a compromise. We can move these sliders in different directions, but the more sound reduction we get, the more weight we have to have, or
so it's going to have
the
to get
more expensive materials, or we'll have to be longer, or whatever. So
longer, bigger, and so for us, if we make this any fatter, you can't see over our sights, right? So
you
have to,
you see
play
where I'm
with all
going.
those things,
Where did
absolutely.
you decide to move these sliders in terms of weight versus decibel reduction versus length?
So we wanted to make sure, so first and foremost, it was experience, right? So it was overall shooting experience. I want to go out, if you want to go out to the range, you don't want stuff in your face. You want it to be reliable. You don't want to be clearing jams constantly. And then you don't want to have any malfunctions with your gun. So that was our first focus. When we get into things like sound, we've done competitive benchmarking. We've tested our own. Sound is a very interesting thing to measure, depending on the day. We are competitive with the state of the art that's out there on the market. There's a few that are very quiet. Sometimes they're bigger. Some of the things you mentioned.
And I don't want you to get too nailed down in numbers, because there is some disagreement about how we should be measuring. Mm-hmm. And like I said, some of it is subjective. You can have one can that measures several decibels quieter, but feels less comfortable to shoot because it has a higher pitch or whatever.
It depends. I mean, there's a lot of variables. Where you place the microphone, are you inside, are you outside? What's in the room with you? What's the humidity? I mean, it's a very great learning experience for us, because, we do test a lot, and trying to figure all these things out is part of getting into this business.
So the obligatory questions being, when can I have it and how much is it going to cost? Obviously, that first question is going to be partly dependent on how long Form 4s and Forms 3 are going through. I imagine right now we're probably not seeing any real backup with Forms 3.
No, we have them in channel now.
So it's going to come down to the end user. Forms 3 are to transfer from the manufacturer to the dealer, so they're out there. The Forms 3 are not getting backed up so much. So your real when can I have it is coming down to Form 4, and none of us have any control over
Right,
that.
so a consumer can order one today. We're manufacturing them, we're shipping them, they're in distribution. It's going to come down to what you mentioned. The form wait times for Form 4s are backing up a little bit. Yeah. Hopefully that comes back the other direction.
It's been up and down quite a bit. There's a thread on ARFCOM. You can track Form 1 and Form 4 waiting times, but it has fluctuated a lot with the addition of the e-filing system and the changes. Every time the ATF announces something that they want to do different, that changes people's perception of whether they want to have NFA devices, and there's been a lot of change lately. So if you're wondering how long is it going to take, I don't know. It's anybody's guess. Check the threads.
Usually if you ask in your local gun store that sells silencers, they'll give you a pretty good handle on how quick they're clearing.
Yeah, and there's a lot of the companies that like Silencer Shop with their kiosks and all that, they can. Their contacts would be able to give you an idea of how things are processing, but also those little kiosks help with the processing altogether. What are we looking at for MSRP?
MSRP is $849.
$849.
So very competitive price.
Are we going to see pricing options changing based on obviously there's a couple of different finishes
we don't have any difference in the pricing for the colors, but it's an important detail. It does ship with a booster. So
so the $850 includes
awesome. So you can take it as soon as it clears, or if you have it worked out, you can shoot it at your the dealer's range. As soon as it clears, you can go put it right on your gun, and you're good to go. Which is a value.
If you're not familiar, I'm sorry to interrupt, but if your pistol's basically pretty much anything but an M92. Slightly oversimplification, but if your pistol is a Browning style locking breech like an FN, a Glock, a 1911, practically anything, the barrel tilts, this adds mass, you need a recoil booster. This is inert, but it's a little piece that looks about the same size that fits in there that causes it to function properly. If you want to shoot it on a fixed barrel something, then you don't need that. A lot of manufacturers charge extra for the booster, so their MSRP isn't really actually the full story. Yeah, sure, you can buy the can, but if you want it to work on your gun, you're going to have to spend another 150, 200 bucks.
Yeah, and it's also kind of overwhelming. If you walk around, like we do a lot of time walking around retail, going to gun stores with our sales team, and you go to the section where they have the mounts and the boosters and everything, and it's like, I mean, there's stuff all over the place. So for a consumer, that's can be a little bit overwhelming. We're seeing a lot of people getting interested in NFA and silencers right now, so there's a lot of new people getting into it. So we're just, again, it goes back to that customer experience, just trying to make it easy.
Well, that's pretty cool. Thank you. It's interesting. I always like seeing new companies get into the market, and when a large company like yours rolls out a brand new thing like this, I'm sorry, but I often expect them to have a sort of premium kind of price associated with this, and this is really competitive with other suppressors in the same caliber, in the same market space. So thank you. Good on you for doing that. Thank you for taking the time to walk me through it. Thank you for putting up with my crap.
No, it's fine, man.
Thank you guys for watching. Thank you to our sponsors. If it weren't for them, we couldn't do these things, so please support them. I love you.